will be focused on in tonight's matchup. It's one thing to watch. Riggs, what do you got?
We've been celebrating Cam Newton's 2018 season, but I don't think the nation as a whole has any idea what's going on. It's a fascinating thing that we are now entering Week 10, and the Panthers have not been on primetime television yet. They have not had that primetime game. They haven't played it on Thursday night, or they played it on a Sunday night, they haven't played it on a Monday night. So the audience as a whole might not know what Cam is doing. And yet Cam on Thursday night is not a great quarterback. This is his career since 2011. 2-4? Do you know Drew Stanton has as many Thursday night wins as Cam Newton does in his career?
Love Drew Stanton.
Completion percentage is hovering around the 50% mark, only 206 yards per game.
Yeah.
And the last time he played on a Thursday night, he did really not do anything because he had 3 interceptions and his passer rating was in the 40s against the Eagles last season in Week 6. So I look at Cam Newton and I say the country as a whole is probably hearing it on our show, and maybe ESPN or Fox is talking about it a little bit in the pregame, but they don't know just how good he's been. And this is an opportunity for Cam to change the script on Thursday nights and say, you know what, I am that big-time quarterback. I'm going to go into Pittsburgh, and I'm going to put on a performance that is symbolic of my entire 2018 season. Because whereas last year he started out slow out of the gates, the shoulder was an issue, the offensive line was a mess. This year, Cam Newton's been really good, really solid, really savvy. He's been a smart, wonderful quarterback, and I don't think the country knows just yet. First primetime game for Cam Newton, and he's trying to reverse a curse on Thursday night, something that's been haunting him his entire career.
I love when you call things wonderful. So wonderful quarterback.
The last time the Americans saw Cam, he was in the Superdome getting sacked by Cam Jordan, right?
Absolutely right.
A long time, man.
Absolutely right.
It's come a long way. He looks great.
All right. For me, I'm trying to break down this offense, and I'm trying to figure out the best way I can. Last night, I fell asleep watching CSI, and, you know, it's all about investigating the crime scene. And for me, I was looking at this offense, trying to investigate it, figure out what makes it special. Of course, it starts with Cam, right, the former MVP. Greg Olsen, dominant in the red zone. Christian McCaffrey, an absolute beast. Like, that's the trio, right? That's kind of where it stops. No, but upon further investigation, the Cam squad investigation, CSI, it's Curtis Samuel.
Oh, boy.
So I'm looking at him and what they're doing within that offense. They lead the NFL with wide receivers rushing the ball, as we're seeing right here, with 193 yards. So their creativity, before they even get in the passing game, is as creative as any offense in the business. Curtis Samuel coming off Week 9 where he had his first career multi-TD game. It's hard enough to get in the end zone once. To do it twice in such a way that he did it, where he was a rusher and also a wide receiver, it shows exactly what he told us when he came on the show and we said, what are you? Are you a wide? Are you a running back? What are you? He said, no, I'm a baller. And we labeled him the Brooklyn Baller. So thinking CSI, I feel like that should be his new nickname from now on. It's Curtis Samuel's intangibles, because that's what makes him special. I know we're kind of used to guys being athletic and doing a little bit of everything, but this isn't normal. And what he's built for is perfect for this offense. So he could be that ultimate X factor in this game where C-Mac is doing his thing. Cam, of course, is balling out. Greg Olsen gets a touchdown in the red zone. Curtis Samuel could riddle off 2 touchdowns and change the complexion of this entire game. So I'm looking at Curtis Samuel, man. The new nickname, CSI. Curtis
CSI. And what a plug that Nate fell asleep during the show. It's incredible. Who hasn't, though?
Sorry, Caruso.
Get fooled again. I'm going to give a quick power ranking. My favorite type of individual matchup in the game of football. You got left tackle versus pass rusher. In the 2-hole, you got corner versus wide receiver, which gets most of the love. But my number one, I love middle linebacker versus running back because it is old-fashioned and there's more action there and there's more impact. We are going to see a good one. James Conner versus Luke Kuechly. Might as well be Jerome Bettis versus Dan Morgan. Old school like this. James Conner's coming in 4 straight 100-yard games. If you ask, has he faced a middle linebacker like Kuechly this year? He's faced C.J. Mosley twice. Got bottled up the first time, they got off a little bit last week. Kuechly has to have a big, big, big game in this. Just watch. These two are going to be meeting the A gap, B gap, C gap, you name it. Let me get on my soapbox for a second. If you're one of these people who says, the NFL is soft, and it's gone soft, and why don't you might as well put flags on them? Let me assure you that there is a massive amount of physicality and impact in this sport, and if you are saying there's no tackling, there's no hitting, you are just a lemming, mindlessly retweeting subjective sky is falling tweets. Watch this game, because it's going to be boom, Connor Kuechly all night. It is what made me love this game as a kid, and we get it in this one.
Love it.
Some of the best to do it right now. I love that sell on them, and I love that you're talking a little bit about the Panthers defense, because that's, I think, it's going to come down to tonight. It's impossible to stop the passing attack of the Steelers, right? There's too many options. It's Antonio Brown, it's Juju. Big plays will be had.
No question.
But to me, it'll come down to turning the ball over, which the Panthers have been doing like clockwork. They have 13 turnovers on this 5-1 stretch that they're on. Our friend of the show now, Mike Adams, has 3. Dante Jackson, the Rookster that D'Angelo Hall was gloating and glowing about, he is tied for the league leading interceptions with 4. Reed's doing his thing. So to me, they can sort of be in control of this game by controlling the turnovers. The only weird thing is, out of, let's say, 13 takeaways that I just mentioned, they've only scored on 2 of them. So I would love to see somebody pick it off. Dante Jackson, I'm looking at you, and take it to the house. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Well, Dante Jackson action. I like that.
I'm calling a defensive touchdown, because in 13 turnovers to only have 2 go to the house.
You got to have one. Get to the sideline.
Trend.
Get to the sideline, you'll score.
Yeah.
If they're trending with turnovers,
Here's
you
a
gotta take advantage of
question. Do they mention Le'Veon Bell on this broadcast?
Yeah.
Of course they do.
They do?
You don't
Of course
think
they
so?
do.
I don't know. I find it fascinating that he's the lead story in every news outlet this morning, and the guy hasn't played a game, and this is a premier, big-time game for the Steelers. I wonder if he comes into the broadcast at all, and that becomes a story, or if they're just going to focus on the field.
You tell me. So you work on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You know all of that. Is that a conversation that's had in the meeting? Like,
Probably.
Are we going to stay away from this, or are we going to
They're
have
probably going to address it, and I wonder if that pisses Steelers fans off, because the reaction that we've gotten here on our show for all the Le'Veon Bell talk this week
Yeah.
has been from Steelers fans saying, he's not there. Stop talking about him.
The players are talking like that too now. I don't care.
So
Who
he's
cares?
gonna
It's a
get-
cloud.
He's going to get booed when he comes
Listen,
back, right?
man, people.
I don't know if he
fans?
gets booed, but
I would think you would.
Fans are
I
so
think he
dramatic.
Steelers fans are different. It's a great question. Then we should do a whole segment on will the Steelers fans boo him?
I think they'll boo him.
But Steelers fans they know good players, and they're I don't know.
Look at
I'm
how,
actually
based on how they're reacting on Twitter, like Peter's saying, I would think that they would boo him.
They're going to boo a man that's going to help them win a Super
I'm
Bowl.
not saying they should.
No, I don't think they will. But why would they boo a guy that can help them get to a Super Bowl? And finally
Connor
win
starts
a
the
Super Bowl?
game. He has a few carries, first down, second down. On third down, he trots off the field, and
What's
Le'Veon
the
Bell
reaction?
trots in. Is
Booing.
it standing ovation? Is it Bronx cheer? Is it actual booing? I'd actually, I don't have an
Fascinating.
answer.
Fascinating.
We'd have to ask
We'll
Steelers
see.
What do you guys think,
I'm not one of
Steeler
them.
fans out there, fans of the other teams that have been along with us on this epic Le'Veon Bell ride? Not whether they should, but whether they will. Hashtag GMFB.
Yeah, they will.
There's a difference. What does the addition, gentlemen,